In this video, we will use the Madmin printout to work with one-point perspective. So I just call this my little mid-century modern lobby area or such. So we have one-point perspective, meaning that you're looking straight on. Horizontal lines are horizontal or perpendicular to the vertical planes. So one point, horizontal lines, vertical lines, and then everything else is going to merge to a single vanishing point. So the first thing you're going to want to do, and try not to press too hard on this back wall because we're going to be dissecting that back wall, is to follow the floor. So align that nice up, and you're going to follow where the floor, right, and the ceiling lines meet, and they meet approximately at one point right about there. So you can just put a little line there or go through the process of following all those points, right? So basically we're looking inside our cube, a one-point perspective cube. We've taken off the front wall and we're looking inside a one-point perspective cube. So once you've found your one-point perspective, I'm going to ask you to take this front line and you're going to do equal spacings. Now I don't care if those are 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, but you're going to do equal spacings all across that front line. And we're going to take those back to the vanishing point to create the suggestion of wood boards or wood flooring. Before I did that, I made the suggestion of an area rug under the seating area. So to do that, I want you to take the sides of the feet of the chair, and I want you to pull out from that point out. Pull out from the point out. And then just about the size that you want, you're going to draw a horizontal line across, right? Or one-point perspective to define the edge of that area rug. Now we're going to make the flooring here, where our little Madmen woman is standing on. We're going to make the flooring wood planks. And those wood planks could either run horizontally across, right? You can just take those across, or they can run back to the perspective. So let's take a look at that. So from our measuring points, okay, taking those back. Now we don't want it to hit the rug, so from the measuring points back to the vanishing point. And like I've showed you before, I typically, since this is the point I use my pencil to catch that point, and then I pull. Catch the point, pull. So it's almost like as if you could put a pin right there and save that spot. Pull, hit, pull. You can do it the opposite way, from the point to the vanishing point. And next week we're going to actually learn how to do something very similar to this to create a grid that you can use to sketch a one-point perspective. So now I have my nice shaggy rug, textured rug, and I have my wood. So again, this is just starting to get a little bit of practice, just a little bit of practice of how to work with a 1-point perspective, because next week we're actually just going to start and you're going to be actually drawing 1-point perspectives on your own. Okay, the next thing is I want to put a piece of art right here on this wall. So I want it centered on this coffee table or on my rug. So I'm just going to come straight over and then up. So I want the center of my art to be right about here. And so I'm going to draw my first vertical line. And then I'm going to go back from the vanishing point. And I'm going to put a second vertical line. To make the suggestion of something with depth, I just drew a second vertical line, and then you can enclose it with a nice horizontal line. So now I have a piece of art on the back wall. So almost done with this exercise. So if you have the marks on that back wall where you found your vanishing point, you might just want to erase those so you can see that I had a little bit there so that you don't get confused. Because what we're going to do is simply go through the practice of dissecting that back wall. Now, it's not a perfect square, so when we dissect it, it's going to be the same proportions, but basically just smaller as we dissect them. So it's rectangular in shape, and so as we dissect those equal units, they will also be rectangular in shape. So our little lady here with her great skirt, she's covering the right bottom corner of our rectangle. So just take a look at, here's our back wall. Vertical, horizontal, horizontal, that goes all the way across, right, into her. And then our vertical wall should do the same. So you're going to want to do that. And then you're going to want to do the process of dissecting the cube like you've done in so many exercises. Start with an X. Cut that X in half. Right? Both vertically and horizontally. So now you have 4 quadrants. Cut those 4 quadrants in half. Then cut those vertical and horizontal. And then cut those again. And what you're going to get is what we can create is a harlequin pattern on our back wall. So not that I'm a huge fan of harlequin planners. I think it's kind of cool, but really just I wanted you to have that practice of dissecting and breaking things up in equal sections one more time. So that was the first part of the exercise. And then to see how you're creating this nice harlequin pattern or diamond pattern. So these were really popular for a while for kids' rooms. So I will tell you that as an interior designer, I did have to provide the actual dimensions for our painters. It wasn't just something that you can count on. Most of them can figure it out, but usually a designer will provide the actual dimensions, just like I'm doing here in a CAD drawing. It makes it a lot quicker for our painters. So again, this was all created by dissecting that back wall. If our back wall was perfectly cube, then we would have had more cube-like diamonds. So then when you're all done, go ahead and go over that just for practice with a pen or a pencil, and you're good to go. You can go over your entire drawing, for example. Just gives you practice with line work. finish that off and you're going to be all done. And I'm not going to do the whole thing in this exercise, but you can see how nicely everything works out. I'm just going to do this one side, and you can finish the other, one side of the drawing. So you'll want to do that. You'll want to go in. You could punch up the nice light fixtures. Right? Go in the door, trace over the chair, trace over the art. And if you print out your underdrawings light enough, and then when you scan them, it's really hard to recognize that you have those guidelines underneath. So we have a door. We have stairs that go up. It's a 1-point perspective, so you're just that slight little top of the run or the tread goes to that vanishing point, so you can barely see it. You can see it here at the landing that goes to the vanishing point. So in our past exercises, all those slight little touches, and they're covered on this side, actually go to the vanishing point. You'll have some art. Horizontal lines are horizontal here at the edge, for example. And you'll go in. And if you want to do a thinner pen or line weight for the wood, that's probably a good idea. And you're going to finish tracing your drawing and getting a good feel for 1-point perspective for next week. I hope this exercise helped and that it was something that was beneficial. It shouldn't take very long. You can see that I try to keep my tutorials short, like around 20 minutes. And so of course, if I spent a little more time, I can get a little more exact in details with my sketching. Practice an ellipse right there, nice. All right, carry on, trace over the entire drawing and submit that, and that'll be your final assignment for this week.